It's 2026. We've got ChatGPT writing sermons. We got TikTok Christian influencers leading a generation. We got political crazy, and here we are.
I'm Pastor Coy.
I'm Pastor Jesse.
Welcome to the Pulpit Aside.
Hey, we're back.
It's
so good to be back.
It's been a while. Season 4.
Yeah, well, we took a long break there.
We did.
I was really encouraged. I posted a short snippet to say, hey, we're coming back, and it malfunctioned the audio, and I had people reach out saying, hey, there's no audio, which is encouraging because that means people are wanting to hear our podcast.
Yeah,
that was super exciting for me.
That was exciting.
They missed us.
So to those two people who reached out, okay, we really appreciate it. I mean, somebody's listening other than just you and I.
That's right. That's right. Well, and some of you know, if you did hear when I re-uploaded it with audio, that Pastor Coy has moved. You're living in Texas now.
I am now in a church in Frisco, Texas called New Life Community Church, and we have moved to Little Elm, Texas, which is right where we live at, right on the border of Frisco, Little Elm.
So it's
like
the
a
Dallas
suburb
area?
of North Dallas. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So wow, that's different.
It is different.
You're in the Bible Belt.
I am in the Bible Belt. I'm back in the Bible Belt.
Dallas is pretty much like the capital city of the Bible, isn't it?
Well, I would say this. There are a lot of people who come to Dallas to be trained at one of the seminaries or Bible colleges there, and then a lot of people will stay in the Dallas, Fort Worth Metroplex, as well as throughout Texas, as opposed to, leaving the area. Yeah, I mean, it's a high percentage of people who will come and stay ministry-wise.
And lots of big churches and ministries there.
There are.
That's different.
It's a lot different, but there is a great benefit in being back home as I come back once a month to help out with the transition of the church here, Kingdom Life. And then, of course, to do the podcast just stay connected. This is still home, so.
I'm glad. Glad. Well, one of these podcasts we're going to have to talk about what it's like living in the Bible Belt.
That would be great. That would be great. I'll probably have lots to say.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, we like it here in Michigan.
Yes.
Well, we wanted to talk today about what it means to be the church in 2026. Now, you and I are not experts, but we are real-life practitioners in real-life churches, trying to figure out how to follow Jesus and lead people in Jesus in 2026. So,
yes.
A lot of things to talk about.
A lot of things to talk about. And we're not alone because everybody listening, you two are practitioners or at least a part of 2026 and the different things that have taken place over the last year or decade that has not only moved the needle of the church in various directions, depending on what needle we're talking about, but also just realizing that we have to navigate this new space. That we are finding ourselves in.
Yeah. So tons that we could talk about.
Yes.
Why don't we just jump in?
Jump into a couple?
Jump in. All right. So the first one that's coming to my mind is, so some stats are saying that young people are gaining interest in the church again. Some would even say there's a Gen Z revival, although I read a headline yesterday that said there's no statistics to support it. So now I don't know what to think. But something's happening there, and it's interesting. So, and this is probably just me getting old, right? I'm an old guy, right? But like just this past semester on the MSU campus, I talked to 2-3 different students who had a significant conversion experience because of a TikTok influencer.
Wow.
This is the world we're living in, man.
Right.
Like, and I'd never heard of the guy they're talking about.
That's because you're old.
I know. That's what I'm talking about. But like, so I started to look up this guy and mention his name. Now, all the young people knew who he was.
Okay.
I'd never heard of him. And his content seems legit.
All right.
But this is the world we're living in. Like, young people spend hours of their life on their phones.
They do.
And there are powerful influencers who are using that platform to help people find Jesus. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
There's also a lot of other Christian influencers out there that I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
So, in a sense, this generation, because last year, over the last couple of years, we've talked about deconstruction of faith and how young people who are coming, how people who are coming back to church, like in our generation, are deconstructing their faith or have deconstructed it, or even how young people are leaving and going off to college and getting faith deconstructed. And we talked about that. That has some bad and good in it. So in some sense, this newer generation that is coming, they may not be deconstructing it. They may be trying to engage with it.
Yeah.
And as they're engaging with it, because they're engaging with it in platforms that they engage with the rest of life in, they're using platforms like TikTok and social media, which is it's fine. It
is.
It's actually a good use of TikTok and the internet.
I mean,
and
better
social media.
than most of the other stuff out there, right?
There is a lot of stuff out there that may not be as beneficial.
Yes. Well, I think, as they say, there are two sides to every coin, or two blades to every sword, right? Yeah. I think there's good. I think there's bad. We are in an information age, right? Like, and it's almost like what the Bible talks about, like knowledge will be everywhere, and this could be that. But what I think that has created that is not so good is because young people growing up have access to so much information. They imbibe a lot, but they don't always have a filter for what's really true.
That's true. That's correct.
Right? They just receive content, and even if they have a lot of knowledge, because knowledge is so accessible, you don't know something, you Google it. Like I even do that now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I do too.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah.
But if your introduction to Christianity is TikTok, then you're gonna get in your algorithm all the other Christian things, and if you don't know the Bible for yourself, then you just believe what everyone says. And I think that's a very like shifting sand tossed by the waves kind of possibility that could bring into their life. All
right, so let's explore that some, because it would sound like what you could be saying, someone could be hearing this conversation and they could be hearing, see, this is why we need a local church. And this is why church is so important, and why maybe the older generation, like you and I, maybe even older, would say, and this is the problem with social media and TikTok and people finding the gospel and finding Jesus on it, is they're going to get a conglomerate.
Yeah.
Like this hodgepodge, this mutt of all that is mixed in, not only with Christianity, but with the truth.
Yeah.
And then they will be challenged to think through that without having like good support, good structure, good, community around them. And that is true.
So
that is a reality.
It's messy.
But hasn't the church always been messy?
Yeah.
I think these same things existed just in smaller forms when there wasn't social media.
What do you mean?
Like, so for instance, let's say somebody got saved in a campus revival.
Okay.
Like Ohio State, the football team a couple years ago, everything that's been going on down there, a lot of the guys coming to Christ, one of the stars baptizing everybody. Well, at that moment, this football team is a bunch of 18, 19, 21-year-olds, and that's their community.
Yeah.
And they are formulating their theology, some of their doctrines from what they're reading, but also probably what they're doing with one another.
Yeah.
And I think oftentimes, even within the church, even before social media, once you connect with somebody in anything, in this case, spiritual things, that becomes your community.
Yeah, and you follow.
And whether that community is local right here or whether it's on TikTok, good or bad, you start to ascribe a lot of what you think and how you feel based upon what the community is saying. And this is why, we have some people who say you should only read one version of the Bible. Women still shouldn't wear pants today because it's a men's garment.
Wow.
Like, I think that,
you went somewhere.
and listen, hopefully, I'm not trying to be offensive. If you believe that's fine, but a lot of that is shaped and formed in the community circles that we find ourselves attaching to because we got connected to Christ. In, or in this particular circle. So I think it's been happening, it just hasn't been as public.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's good and it's bad. I think it's good that we have information because you can see a wide variety of viewpoints.
Yes, right, yes.
However, there are also algorithms, right?
That's true.
That are really siloing people into echo chambers, because once you go down this road, it's going to keep you feeding you more and more and more of that, and that becomes your reality. And then if you go down this road, the algorithm feeds you more. And so in a sense, there's a plethora of information to be had, which is a good thing. Yes, I think, but also because of the working of the algorithms, like, I think it can serve to divide us as well. Yeah. So I tell you what, let's look at it from, we'll throw the Bible in here just for a few minutes, okay? Yeah. The most essential belief that we need to have as Christians would be what? And I'm asking a rhetorical question. We know the answer to it, so I'm just going to say it. And that is that faith alone in Christ alone. That Jesus, faith in him is what saves us. That is the foundational, most important principle to believe about the entire Bible, because it is the gospel. Okay? So if I believe the gospel, whether I heard someone on TikTok talk about it, I was in my local church, or whether I just picked up a Bible and read John 3:16 and it just hit that in that moment. That is the most fundamental principle. It is the thing that we must believe in order to be distinctly Christian. Yeah. All the stuff after that is a part of sanctification. All of it. Right. Paul would tell the church, work out your salvation with what? Fear and trembling. And there are plenty of false teachers. False teachers within the church that are coming. He's writing all the letters saying, it has come to my attention. You guys are listening to this, or you're acting this way. Right. So he spends, the majority of the New Testament is really, as far as the books in the New Testament, is spent trying to help the church kind of navigate what it looks like to now act and walk like a Christian. And there's a whole lot of mess going on. To be faithful, right. In the middle of all of what's happening. But Paul never condemns them because they have Christ. Right. He talks to them as brothers and sisters. They may be immature. Yeah. He may say to them, I'm talking to you as if you were not saved. Like just saying you're immature. I'm talking to you, you should be on meat, you're on milk. But he always considers them brothers. Yeah. Unless it's clear that they are not brothers and sisters. Yeah, it's interesting that you bring it back to that, because it's almost like there's nothing new under the sun. Ah. Right, outside voices, competing voices have always been a part of the story. That's right. And so, and it's not going anywhere. Like you said, we're not going to get rid of it, and so it's not going to do us any good to be like, down with TikTok, But there is something to be said for, and you kind of alluded to this, the local church, in the digitization of the world. I believe, I don't know that it will happen in 2026, but I think will or is creating a hunger for real in-person community. Yeah. Because we've gone so far from it. We have digital communities, but I think humans are hungry for real life interpersonal community. And I think at some point here will be a pendulum swing where people don't want as much digital content and they want real people in their lives. I don't know that we'll get there this year, but I see that. That is a good point. We often will go back to that which is essential. Yeah. And this right here is essential. Yeah. Well, so related. Right. We're in an information age. Yes. Is the surgence of AI in the last year or two, right? And AI can do almost anything for you. You can make a girlfriend for you if you want, apparently. I haven't tried it, promise. I'm married happily. But ChatGPT can write your sermon? Yes. It can write worship songs. Yes. I've seen them and heard them. Mm-hmm. And they don't sound that much different than what real people are producing. So being in Texas right now, being in Texas right now, I've been part of several staff meetings where we've just been talking, and several of the staff will use ChatGPT to, for sermon notes, meeting notes. Okay. And it's interesting because I told someone in leadership just recently at the church, because they ChatGPT what they wanted to send me in the email before they sent the email. And then they basically sent ChatGPT's outline and info in the email. And it was a biblical question centered around, leadership and Moses and Joshua. So it was a great question. And so when I replied with my very first line, hey, thanks for sharing this. Y'all in this doggone ChatGPT.
at some point I might start drinking the Kool-Aid, but not yet. So I don't use ChatGPT currently to get my points or to help me with a sermon. I just old-fashioned way, you read the Bible, you pray, you get some commentaries out. I guess I'm doing ChatGPT just on my own.
You are the source material.
But I have also recognized that when people use ChatGPT, it actually does a really good job. It's a really good job at outlining things, giving you the points, doing the research for you and putting it all together, taking meeting conversations and then putting it into.
Oh, yeah.
So it works really, really well. I just, but I'm wondering what will happen when it comes to plagiarism, now in the church.
I mean, teachers are trying to deal with that right now. So I heard an interesting point about this stuff, AI being like the newest technological wave, that I thought was really compelling. They said, when the printing press was invented, that was like the new technological wave. People are afraid of it.
Okay.
Because now any kind of information could be disseminated anywhere and mass produced.
Oh,
now we look back and say that was awesome.
It was ingenious.
We're so glad. Now they've got the Bible in the hands of anybody that wants it. But at the time, that was threatening to the cultural fabric that they had lived within.
Yeah.
And so the point someone made is AI today's printing press? Like, it's going to be a seismic shift in the world, but will we look back and say it was good? Or was it bad? And I think that there's room for both. Like, you look at the printing press now, people can print anything, and there's all kinds of good stuff, but there's also all kinds of crap. You know what I mean? So, but like, we don't look back and say, man, they should have never done that.
Right.
Right. So,
yeah.
Where will we stand on AI in the next generation? If Jesus hasn't returned.
And let me be clear about something. I've never been really. I mentioned the plagiarism earlier.
Yeah.
I've never been a big, I guess you could say, proponent of saying, "Oh, you got your sermon from somebody else. That's plagiarism. You shouldn't do that." What you said earlier, there's nothing new under the sun.
That's true.
I feel like whatever preachers are getting, it's in the Bible. And when I read a commentary to help me formulate my sermon, I'm using somebody else's work and notes, even though I may be adding a little bit of my own self to it, to communicate this biblical truth. And so I've never been a big one for saying, hey, you're plagiarizing, this is wrong. Whoa. I get it, because the world we live in, it's like, well, you need to cite the person to say it was their work.
Intellectual property, it matters.
I'm from that school of thought. Like, if I hear a preacher preach a good sermon and he makes a couple of good points or he has a good one-liner,
I'm going to use those.
I will use that. And I may say, I heard a preacher say, or I heard Pastor so said it the first time, second time. I heard a preacher say, but the third time it's mine. Yeah, I'm just, as I always say,
As I always say. It's yours.
It's mine now, right?
You're putting your name on it.
So I've never been the pastor who was really kind of getting hard on guys who got a lot of work from other pastors because it was out there.
Yeah.
It was out there.
Yeah.
So
again, I think there's a couple ways to take it. Like, I remember, maybe a decade now, because I'm getting old, but like, with the rise of Google, realizing that anything you say, somebody could fact check you in the moment.
Yes.
And has made me a lot more careful about statements I make publicly. I don't want to factually declare, for sure XYZ if I don't know for sure, because somebody's going to Google that.
Yes.
Right there in the view.
Sometimes you hear something and you Google it.
Oh, yeah, I've done that.
And then you're still not sure that what you Googled is even accurate. It's wait a minute.
Don't believe
let me read a couple stories and make sure.
But I think that's a good thing. It keeps us honest.
Well, it does.
Because I think preachers, which we are, so we're not pointing the finger at anybody about us, but at times have taken advantage of their position and declared things that they said they were sure of, but maybe weren't totally true.
And even that kind of thing, we've done that unintentionally. We heard something and we trusted the source, or it sounded like, and then we go share it, and we didn't fact check it. We didn't really, get the information before we started communicating.
Yeah. I mean, so AI is here.
Oh yeah, it's not going anywhere.
What are we going to do with it? How are we going to use it? One other thing on this that I just thought of is, because I've not really used it for any of my sermons or anything. I don't want to right now, and that's the
I'm with you. I don't want to right now.
Old man in me.
Right?
But I heard a music artist say, like, I'm not going to listen to the music that's generated by AI because the Holy Spirit's not in that like it is in a believer, and I get what he's saying, but the thought that occurred to me was, but can't God use it? Like, could the Holy Spirit get in that AI production if he was invited, I mean, what keeps God out of it?
Let me make sure I understand this.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little...
Yeah.
This is new information to me right now.
Yeah. Hey.
Wait.
Didn't prep you for that
No,
one.
you didn't. So wait, AI has the ability, like you put words or something and then it makes the song for you?
It can.
So then...
Actually, this is what happened. This is what happened.
Go ahead.
One of the top songs, streamed songs for a minute in the worship or Christian CCM genre, I don't remember which one it was AI generated.
Okay.
And so artists were responding to that.
So did somebody actually sing it, or is it just the words, or does AI create a voice and sing it?
I don't know about that part.
Because
I just know that the song was produced by AI.
So if you're making the statement, could AI jump into... could the Holy Spirit jump into the AI chat GPT that's online?
I think it could.
The algorithm. Okay, well, I'm not going to say God couldn't do that.
Have you ever watched a secular movie and felt God speak to you through it?
Absolutely.
Same idea to me.
But I'm thinking that a person would get the song and sing it, and because it's now filtering through a person
yeah,
who
that makes
may
sense.
have the Holy Spirit
That
or
makes
God may be
sense.
using, but the machine, I'm gonna have to look for a Bible verse. How
many times have you preached that God speaks through circumstance?
But the people but the circumstances
Not
still
always.
involve
Circumstances could be the red lights you hit that made you late, but then you weren't in an accident.
But it affected you. Okay, so you're saying, okay,
You see what I'm talking about?
okay, that's fair. Yeah. So God is using and utilizing whatever is here on earth.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, He created it all.
Can.
And we're not creating anything from nothing.
Yeah.
We're creating something from everything that He has created. Okay.
It doesn't mean the demons can't get in there too,
Well, you know what? you put it that way. And okay, you got me leaning. You know what? I was kind of pulling this way, but you're pulling me more to your side now.
So it's easier for you to believe in the evil could use it than that God could.
Well, here's the thing, because there's so much evil
you are
in the world.
alone in that.
I'm glad we're having this conversation. Yeah, you see, we're working things out, even in this moment.
That's right.
As we talk and dialogue. That is a good point there. Yeah. Well,
doesn't mean I'm going to let AI write my sermons, but I still think God could use it as much as the devil could, for sure. At least that much, maybe more.
Excellent point. Excellent point. And while I haven't yet drank the Kool-Aid, for those of you who enjoy AI, you don't have to send us a message with AI saying, "Hey, Pastor Cole, this is how you could." Your AI could have broke your whole podcast down for the day, and we do know that. We have not. That has not been our habit.
Yeah. Well, AI will never reproduce or replace human interaction.
No, it will not. Even though for some people, as you said earlier, it is, which usually leads to a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because people are, inventing or talking to people who are through AI, or talking to AI like it's your girlfriend or your significant other. And doing crazy stuff. Yeah. And that's that devil part or demon part you're talking about, working within the system and stuff. But yeah, I don't think it can ever replace this. Ever.
Yeah, no. I mean, we're made for it. So how do we use the tools in our world for redemptive kingdom purposes? I guess is the bigger question.
And even for greater connection.
Yeah.
Because I could introduce
true.
something through AI that will connect me to someone all the way around the world.
And it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
What else in 2026? I mean, there's so many things we could talk about. I think with the technology age and algorithms, we've talked about this a lot on the podcast, is I think there's a discipline for believers to learn how to humanize other humans.
Sure.
In other words, like, let's not always see issues, when we see another person. Well, you believe that, then you must be wrong, or you can't be a Christian and vote this way, or you can't follow Jesus and believe that, and we just toss people out, or whole segments of populations consider them, wrong and evil, when Jesus never sees that. Like, he always sees the possibility of redemption. So all that to say, I think it's going to be an ongoing discipline to learn to live as humans in a human world, even though we have digitized almost all of our culture, you know what I mean? And we're being groomed and discipled by algorithms to learn to still carry the heart of Jesus. And it takes, it's just a different world.
It is. It is. That thought that you just mentioned, and even thinking about 2026, leads me to something that came up in the last couple of weeks. And I don't have all the details around it, but, Pastor Jamal Bryan, a pastor down in Atlanta, Georgia, he and his wife went to, I want to say United Negro College Fund event or NAACP event, and it was a fundraiser. And his wife has on this very form-fitting dress that is see-through, but it's not totally see-through because the new fashion is the nude material underneath the dress, nude. So it appears like you're nude, but you really can't see.
She wasn't actually.
But she wasn't actually like a see, like you can see her actual body. But it is very form-fitting. Okay. And man, I tell you, the church, like Christians, went wild with, oh, this is ungodly. She's a pastor's wife. She should not be dressing like this. To she's not in the church right now, and she's wearing a dress that, she likes and they're okay with. So why are you tripping about it? And she shouldn't have been seen this way in public, or what happened to modesty? And there's a lot of back and forth, like there often is when we as Christians begin to focus on the failure, the shortcoming, or we start to point our fingers at something that we personally think is an offense on the front or a sin. And in that moment, we do forget that we're talking about people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like we only see this action, or we only want to focus on this failure or this shortcoming, or again, a preference of ours that was not met. And I used the word modesty earlier because, I don't know that the dress was really modest. But, and this is a huge but the world we live in today, the fashion sense that we have, there are a lot of things that men and women are wearing that are not modest.
Sure.
I mean, even in church, sometimes we get up there in some real skinny, tight jeans.
Oh, yeah.
And we preach, and we are trying to be relevant to the culture because of what we're wearing, as well as feel attractive, because whatever the culture says is attractive, you kind of buy into that.
Yeah.
If everybody starts wearing long hair, then people are going to start having longer hair.
Right.
One of the things I think about is, when did high water tux pants become so popular? Right? Well, some people say, NBA players started doing it, wearing the glasses, like Russell Westbrook, and high water pants for a tux. I told my wife the other day, I said, I wonder if they actually started doing that as NBA players because they had to dress up, but the pants didn't fit.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
The pants just didn't fit.
It's a style.
So now it's a style, right? And so a lot of things can serve as distractions. A lot of things can be what we would normally think the opposite of modesty, but it's also become very, very common, and it has become appealing and attractive, and we desire to kind of look like and be like, and I'm not saying be like the world, but we sometimes take our fashion sense, like our business
we're following
sense,
cues from
from what's happening in the world.
Well, so is what you're getting at here, like in our information age, that so much of life has become public, right? And, so like this pastor, I would never have known them. They're in Atlanta. I live in Michigan.
Right.
Why do I care? But because we have all the media outlets we have, then someone can snap a picture, someone can post an article, then it goes viral, and now we all have permission in this world to make our judgment.
Yeah.
Were they right? Were they wrong? You know, who are these people? And now I have a whole character assessment.
Yes.
Based on
based upon a picture
somebody snapped and went all over the world.
Yes.
Which I did see the picture. I don't know who these people are.
Well, you saw it because it was all over Facebook, all over social media.
It was
You're like, okay, and you probably kept scrolling. I stopped because I know the guy or I know of him.
Okay.
So,
So what's the take home though, right? Like this information is out there, and you know, if we shift it to a different one, like, you know, some pastor gets defrocked because he's found to be having an affair.
Yeah.
Right? We've had a few of those.
Yes,
like
we
over
have.
the last several years. Like, is it good or bad that gets exposed? I say that because it's easy to categorically denounce that behavior.
Yes,
right?
yes, it is.
What he did was wrong.
Well, yes.
It should be stopped.
Yep.
There should be consequence.
Yes.
We get that.
And
you know,
I'm fine
what
with,
somebody wore to a fundraiser. Yeah, I don't know. You know, should I get to make public comment about that?
Well, let's say this. Not should I get to, because we get to.
Yeah.
Should I?
Should I?
I think that's the question. Yeah. Should I even make those comments, especially if it's trying to spin something in a direction that may be my personal preference, my own desire, and I don't know the people. Like if you've never met him or her, or you don't spend time with them, to then make a judgment call because of, again, one snapshot, that you now assess someone's entire character.
Right.
Do you realize if we start assessing everybody by one snapshot of their life?
Right. No, that'd be terrible.
Depending on the snapshot would determine if you're good, bad, evil. I mean,
Well, and that's the world we live in.
It is.
You know what I think is good, now that we're talking about it, about kind of the public-facing world that we're living in, is there's, and even what I was talking about, like, you know, the emergence of Google to fact-check you in your sermons, right? Like, I think there's accountability, increased accountability, and an increased need for integrity. And we, as followers of Jesus, shouldn't be afraid of either of those things.
That's good.
And the truth is, and it's a little scary, because, like, you know, say I'm having a conversation with someone on text, at any time, they could screenshot what I'm saying to them and send it to somebody.
That's right.
And that's accountability,
yes,
baby.
It is.
Like, right? And should I be afraid? You know, there's some things that are personal, right, that you shouldn't be shared. But, like, if I'm wrong, if I'm in the wrong, you know, or if I'm being shady, then I should be able to be exposed.
Yes. And I think that's the part that is good about it.
Yes.
I think the part...
That's what I mean. There's accountability and integrity.
There's accountability and integrity
and calling
there.
us to integrity. Like, let me not be trying to hide.
Yeah.
Because at any moment, I could be exposed.
That's right. And I think the Bible communicates that. You know, when Israel goes into the land and Achan takes the stuff that was supposed to be reserved for the Lord, Israel starts to lose. At some point, God says, bring everybody. Y'all sin. That's why you're not winning, Joshua.
Right.
Stop crying.
Yeah.
All right? Bring all the people. And then God illuminates the reason why they're losing. And, you know, Achan is then dealt with, he and his family, for his decision. So I think it's good, and we see in the Bible, sin will at some point in time be illuminated, be highlighted, because it needs to be dealt with. I think, unfortunately, though, we try to then be God.
Yeah. We try to be judged.
Yeah, we try to be judged.
That's problematic.
Yeah, that is problematic. And so I think the part we sometimes miss miserably is we don't then walk in the grace that we ourselves would want if it was us.
Well, we want how we want to be treated.
We don't walk in that same grace, number one.
That's good.
And then number two, what we also do is we now look at this situation that this person is involved in. And at that point, we dehumanize them.
Yeah, that's the problem.
We forget they're in the image of God. If they are actually a Christian, we forget that they are a child of God in the body of Christ.
Yeah.
And so at that moment that we are missing the mark on continuing to still make them human, continue to remind ourselves, especially in the body of Christ, that they are a Christian. But then also the reality that we all have sinned.
Yes.
And ours have yet to be exposed, but will be exposed at some point in time. Right. And you're going to need some grace. And so I think we just don't do the best job at remembering some of those elements that are also true about Christianity.
Really good. So here's a thought, because, we talk about we don't get to be the judge, the ultimate judge, because we're not.
Right.
However, there is a right way to judge, between what's right and wrong. So what does it mean to discern good from evil, to call out sin when sin is sin, but not put yourself in the seat of the judge?
It's good. It's good. I think that's where that integrity and accountability comes in handy. I think the Bible is clear. We should acknowledge sin when it happens.
Yeah. This guy's adultery was wrong.
Right. Yeah. The adultery is wrong. Right. That was sin. But we're not going to throw you out. We're not going to just cancel you, because even though there is sin and there's acknowledgement of it, there's always a restoration process. And the question is,
that person, as you said, is a human being that God loves and cares
absolutely
about. That he has the same amazing grace upon us.
Yes. And so let's create a restoration process and ask, are you willing to go through it?
Yeah.
Because we really don't want to cancel you. We don't want to cut you off. We don't want you outside the church. We actually want you to be a part. And so, yes, adultery is wrong. What's the restoration process?
Right. Yeah.
And if they forego a restoration process, then the Bible tells us, what we must do until they're willing to go through that restoration process. But we stop at the judgment process. And when it comes to the whole dress thing, that's just a preference thing. I don't know that that's sin or not sin. I can make an argument for either side.
Well, does someone's fashion choice become my license to make a character assassination?
Wow.
Right?
So, man, that's a sticky wicket, because in some sense, people's actions and what they do is kind of a witness or testimony to who they are and what they believe, what they think.
So what you do does say something.
What you do does say something.
Or wearing that was saying something.
So wearing that was saying something. So now I guess the question is that one moment, that one snapshot in that dress, that one night, the sum total of what she always wears?
Right. Probably not.
Probably not. I mean, I don't know, because I don't know them like that. But I'm sure if I Googled them, there's plenty of pictures of her, and they're probably not as many as what we saw that one night as what would be probably more reflective of that which would be considered more modest.
I mean, until they speak for themselves, or until we read what they said for themselves, we're just making up.
Yeah.
It's conjecture on what the motive was or wasn't. It's.
Well, the pastor did speak up.
Oh, okay.
He got in the pulpit that Sunday and basically said several things. One, I bought her the dress. He said, let me go. I bought the dress. Two, my wife looks good, and I like her to wear things that makes me want to run home to her.
Okay.
Three, it was not a church event.
Yes.
It was not a church event.
You could debate that too, though, right?
That's true. You could debate that, but his point was, it was not like she came to church like this. Sure. We were at an event, fundraiser, and this was the attire people were wearing. Yeah. So it wasn't even about church at that moment. And then another fourth thing that he said was the fact that the amount of money raised that night was the most money ever raised for this particular fundraiser.
But it wasn't because she was wearing that dress.
And no, that was his point. There were so many other good things to focus on.
Yeah.
You have made this about my wife. Like this whole night, all the good, the money that was raised, what the event was for, that we should be focusing on. You're focusing on a snapshot of my wife's dress as we're walking in. And so that was part of what his explanation was. So now you're hearing it more from the horse's mouth as far as how they felt about it, and even some of the backlash that they got.
So the question, though, is, in the midst of all of this, right, like this AI, TikTok, public culture, even public shaming culture, what does faithfulness look like? How do we walk out discipleship? I mean, that's the question for us as pastors, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that I have a great answer, honestly.
I don't know that I have a great or the answer either. But I think some of it will boil down to our individual journeys of discipleship with the Lord.
Yeah. When
Jesus calls the 12 disciples to follow him, they're all at different places in life and their journey. Thomas will doubt unless he sees. Peter will confess that Jesus is the Christ, and then the Lord will say, flesh and blood did not reveal this to you. And then next thing we know, he's denying, and you know, but they're all on a journey. But it's like the Lord doesn't give up on any of them. His own family, some of them don't believe initially, and then later on will come to faith. It's as if the Lord is not only calling all of us, but he's working with us individually as we work out our salvation and our discipleship and journey with him. And so who knows, maybe what I wear today, in 10 years, I'll look back and say, I probably shouldn't have worn that. Yeah. But that would be a sign of spiritual growth potentially in my discipleship with the Lord. It doesn't mean that 10 years prior, I didn't have a relationship.
Right. We're all growing.
Yeah, we're all growing.
We're all in the process.
Yeah.
Maybe this is oversimplification, but I'm thinking of what we were talking about a few minutes ago. Like at the end of the day, I am not responsible to or responsible for these pastors in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Right? I'm responsible to and for the people, the real life people in my sphere of influence, in my community.
Circle,
now, I mean, that's another topic, right? Some people's sphere is international because of the internet. But they don't know those people, right? They don't see them or touch them or breathe the same air with them, And at the end of the day, those are the people we need to be accountable to. Like when we talk about, people having major falls from mega ministries is because I think many times they got disconnected from real life people in their lives who should have been accountable to and accountable for, who should have been there as brothers or sisters to let, shine light on them.
In addition to that,
before they get there.
In addition, not that I've been there, because I'm not, but we sometimes don't realize what those who are leading mega ministries are really going through.
That too.
Like,
right?
I mean,
all the more reason they need people.
Yeah.
And not just a platform.
Yeah. And all the more reason why we need not be so quick to judge them.
Sure.
Because they fell short or they did something that may be considered more of a gray area. Maybe this might be acceptable, but it may not be acceptable. I think we do without dismissing sin.
Right.
Because when sin happens, we acknowledge it, and then, again, we still try to do restoration, and remember that brother or sister, they've fallen like we've all fallen. But when it's some of those areas where it could really be just part of the sanctification process, part of the growing, maturing, and discipleship process, then we got to show more grace.
Yeah. Well, so, the stuff's not going away. It's not like an either or, throw out all your electronics. That's probably not going to happen.
Please don't.
We're still, you wouldn't have our podcast.
Right.
Oh, my. But bringing it down, right? We've got to bring this thing to a close.
Yes.
I think real relationships, real people, I think is key, right? But what else? If we could dial this all the way back, you started us off in a really cool spot where we're looking at the first century church, and even there are competing voices and influences coming against church. It's not like everything was perfect. So how did they walk out faithfulness? I think was through accountable community relationships. And what else could instruct us from, again, if there's nothing new under the sun, there was corruption, there was sin, there was lawlessness, there was paganism.
There was false doctrine.
All
there
around.
was immodesty.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, my gosh. Temple prostitution.
Yes, there was a lot of that
all
stuff.
The things.
Yeah.
So the call is actually still the same.
It is.
Right? It's to walk faithfully with Jesus, to live a holy life, to give yourself to sound doctrine.
Yes.
To be an accountable community. Maybe not much has changed.
I think the only thing that's changed is we just have more technology.
Just different aspects to
it's different vehicles and tools in which Satan is using and God is using, and that we are now being exposed to.
Right.
And learning how to navigate those tools. The first time the car is created, it was something new. Yeah. New form of traveling. And I'm not sure that there were a bunch of stoplights when the first car was created.
Right.
But you get enough cars driving on the road, you start to realize.
Got to manage the traffic.
You got to manage the traffic now, right? So wait, you build stoplights.
Yeah.
Then you got to do stop signs, and then you got to create laws around driving. And man, we're having accidents and people are getting hurt, but nobody's paying for it. We got to have insurance. Like, I think what we're having to do is what we have had to do in every generation. As you are exiting kind of what was and moving into what is to be, there is this space where there's a learning curve. And we're learning to go from, again, where we are to where we're going to be. And today, there are lots of questions to be answered for us as Christians with AI, social media, all the things that we're talking about. Not that they didn't answer them back then, they answered them back then too. It looked a little different to what the answer was because of just the way life was.
Right.
But we have to have this learning curve, almost like a sanctification process.
Yeah.
With regards to social media, AI, and the new world that we're about to enter into as we kind of go away from the world that we have always been.
Wow. Yeah, the call remains the same.
Be faithful.
Yeah. 2026 years of church life and
that's only after Christ. Right?
All right. Well, that's why I say church life.
That's right. I got
That's about when the church was instituted.
Yes.
And we're still... Well, here's the good news. Jesus has been, is, and will continue to build his church.
Yes, that is true.
And it will be such that the gates of hell cannot prevail. Right? And
good.
the Holy Spirit will prepare a worthy bride, and is preparing a worthy bride without spot or wrinkle, so that when Jesus returns, he has what he died for. I mean, so good news. This is part of the plot.
You know what? You just sealed the deal. The Holy Spirit definitely is working through AI.
Well, my agenda has been revealed.
Wow.
That's probably a good spot to stop.
It
We're
is.
getting in trouble.
Man, thank you for joining us on today. I'm Pastor Coy.
I'm Pastor Jesse.
We thank you for joining us on the Pulpit Aside.
We're looking forward to having more courageous conversations with you as we enter season 4.
Yeah, of 2026, as we think about the church and where it's going, in light of even where it's been.
And of course, I have to say, like, subscribe, leave a review, do all the things that you do for everybody else that you love, so we can get boosted in the algorithm too. Until next time.
Thanks again. We'll see you again real soon.